Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Real News Live. It is, of course, Wednesday night, the 25th of January, 2023. Hi, Richard. Hi, Elena. Hi, Linda. Hi, Nana. Hi, Debbie. How you guys all doing tonight? Of course, everybody else in the chat. Hello, hello, hello. Please hit that share button and the react button. It definitely helps us get it out there. As you know, we're being banned on Facebook and every other platform. Hi, Kevin. As I see you guys come in, of course, commenting or liking something, I can see your name. So definitely appreciate you guys being here. Everything going on. It is crazy, crazy times around the world. I'm sure you guys heard the doomsday clock is 90 seconds to midnight now. Yes, we're talking 90 seconds to midnight. Doomsday clock has moved up. The Earth creeps closest it's ever been to Armageddon, according to scientific-oriented activist groups. I mean, the use of Russian or speculatory of use of nuclear weapons is all-time high. It's Russian invasion in Ukraine and everything that's happening. It is just becoming ridiculous. And the question is, are we really that close to doomsday? Of course, the Bulletin for Atomic Science annual announcement related how close humanity is from doing itself in, showing that obviously these threats and actions that are coming from Russia and all chiefs among them, people and scientists are warning us that we have to wake up now. It's not time to play around and fall asleep at the wheel. We know what's happening. The advocacy group, of course, started in 1949 using the clock to symbolically potential of likelihood of people doing something to end humanity. It moved the clock 10 seconds closer last year, making it closest it's been to striking 12. It's been as much as 17 minutes from midnight after the Cold War ended, but in the past 3 years, the countdown has of course moved closer. Not looking good for anybody, any means. How you guys all doing? Hi, Kevin. Hi, Richard. Hi, Georgianne. Hi, Tobin. As you guys are joining, welcome, welcome, welcome. This doomsday clock thing has got me going, though. 90 seconds to midnight is no joke. As we know what's happening everywhere. I mean, Germany, the U.S., of course, now sending tanks to Ukraine. Biden announced today that 31 Abrams tanks will be sent to Ukraine to fight against Russia, knowing that directly crosses the red line Russia already set. Russia set this red line and talked about it deeply, about certain weapons they would not allow in, and if they did, we would be crossing red lines. And this is a reversal after months of pursuing arguments that his administration that the tanks were too difficult for Ukrainian troops to operate and maintain, which they can't even maintain the weapons we've already sent. Hi, Melinda, and hi, Shelby. How you guys doing? Of course, Germany is sending 14 Leopard A2 tanks for its own stock. Germany said the Leopards would not be sent unless U.S. put Abrams on the table, not wanting to incur Russia's wrath without U.S. similarity commitments of its own tanks. No, we're going to endure the wrath now. And they're pushing it even harder. This is not a good thing. We're on the eve of destruction as we speak. Literally. The expectations, of course, that Russia we're going to break up, you know. The United States and Europe are fully united at this point, though, and pushing this agenda even further. It's just ridiculous watching this happen. Biden administration asked Israel today for Hawk anti-aircraft missiles it has in storage in order to transfer them to Ukraine. 3 Israeli and U.S. officials have told us so far. Israel has rejected the offer, or rejected U.S. and Ukraine's request, providing advanced defensive weaponry to Ukraine over concerns that such a move would create tensions with Russia and harm Israel's security interests in Syria. This is serious. This is absolutely serious. Watching these tanks go there, and of course watching what we're trying to push, Ukraine has repeatedly asked Western countries for such weapons to help it defend itself against Russian strikes. But they're not only asking for these weapons. course, Ukraine today talked about it wanting to get bigger weapons, offensive weapons that have longer range to attack Russia directly. This is an escalation of a war that is not going to end well. Watching both sides of this keep increasing one by one, it's tit for tat at this point. Russia holds an enormous influence in Syria, and Israel's operation freely against Iran activity there is largely dependent on Russia. So Israel's purchase of the Hawk system from the U.S. back in 1960s to defend itself against Egypt and Syrian airstrikes. I mean, at the time, it was Raytheon's developed an anti-aircraft system was cutting-edge technology. But in more recent years, Israel has turned to other systems, including the U.S. Patriot battery system, which is already in Ukraine, and its own Iron Dome, and air defense systems, which are in Ukraine as well. This is ridiculous. Draining countries of all resources, fighting a proxy war in Ukraine that we know we crossed the red line now. We're waiting, of course, what's going to happen there. But watching these systems, I mean, decades ago, military took the Hawkeye system out of service in Israel because it was no longer effective. 10 Hawk batteries, including hundreds of interceptors, remain in storage in Israel. But the U.S., of course, is trying to force Israel by repeated requests of the Hawkeye system in storage in order to transfer them to Ukraine. We're just asking for this to be worse. Literally, every time we turn around, they're asking for it to be worse. I don't understand why the United States or NATO are even in this involved. They're going to go in. They might as well go in now and all in out. Because at this point, Russia's going to end up attacking us, and it's not going to be good. Russia's already fuming at the West's decision to send tanks to Ukraine, saying that the red lines have been crossed. This is not a good thing. Russia expressly mounted furies the prospect of modern Western tanks being sent to Ukraine, calling it extremely dangerous and saying that previous red lines were now a thing of the past. Basically saying the red lines have already been breached. Germany's announcement today, of course, of it's ready to send the 14 Leopard 2 tanks to Ukraine right after the U.S. announced its own intentions of sending Abrams. This is not good. Not good at all. I mean, Russia has a tank that's easily outbattles both of these. Of course, they were having problems getting them on the ground earlier this year because it wasn't frozen. They have frozen ground right now. We're seeing massive movement of Russian troops. And for this to be happening, I mean, it's extremely dangerous. And it takes a conflict to a new level of confrontation. Contradictory to statements of German politicians about unwillingness to draw into the war, unfortunately, this is happening over and over again. We're being drawn in. Russia's not going to back down. We've seen what happened in Ukraine. Ukraine right now in Solidar and Donetsk region, Ukrainian forces have pulled back from Donbass town after onslaught, literally being slaughtered. Ukrainian forces were conducting organized retreat from the town in the eastern region of Donbass as of today, in the amount of a rare but modest battlefield triumph for Russia. After a series of setbacks in the invasion that began almost 11 months ago, Ukrainian armies retreating from the salt mine town of Solidar to preserve lives of personnel, literally losing too much personnel to keep land. This says that Russia's winning. I mean, Ukrainian soldiers being pulled back to prepare a defensive position, hopefully. Russia claimed almost 2 weeks ago that it had taken Solidar, but Ukraine's denied it ever since. But now it's been obvious. Moscow's portrayed the battle over the town not far from Donetsk province and a key capture of Ukrainian Donbass region, where Russian-backed separatists have fought Ukrainian soldiers for almost 9 years, controlled some territory before Russia full-scale invasions happened. I mean, the heightened, of course, despite the concerns about U.S. sending 31 Abrams, despite the concerns about the advanced tanks being sent from Germany. I mean, this is ridiculous. The withdrawal of Ukrainian troops from Solidar takes Russian forces a step closer to meeting their goals. But military analysts, of course, say the town's capture is more symbolic than strategy. Of course, that's U.S. military strategists or analysts saying this. But watching what's happening, the stalemate is no longer happening. Russia's mobilizing more troops daily, another 300,000, or I think it's 500,000 being mobilized now. It was 300. I think he moved it up to 5. It's crazy. These separatists that have already been in this area forever. I mean, since 2004, Russia's been seizing most of Luhansk and half of the Donbass remains under Ukrainian control, but they're pushing through. We are watching it happen as we speak. Taking control of Solidar potentially allows Russian forces to cut supply lines. It does allow them to cut supply lines to Ukrainian forces in Bakhmut. And though the strength of Ukrainian new defensive positions is not known yet, it doesn't look good. I mean, they don't have supplies. They can't get new supplies there. Perhaps worrying for Moscow is Western military, of course, helping Ukraine and now stepping up their delivery of tanks. Of course, Russia's already said that that red line has been crossed. We don't know what that means, as we know Russia has surrounded our coast with submarines and spy ships and everything else. Even Taiwan today said, we cannot stand against China. This is an alarming set of news, everything that's happening. Of course, watching this happen one thing after another. On Tuesday, Russian shellings included 12 attacks on the capital region, Kyrgyzstan, damaging a maternity hospital that was empty, a school, a clinic, port buildings, residential buildings. All this is happening while President Vladimir Zelensky, who's a professional comedian and actor before his 2019 election, has become the internationally recognized wartime leader. How? It's just ridiculous. Watching what's happening, and everything that we're watching is just beyond ridiculous. It's a game that people are getting tired of. But besides that, a mysterious thing just happened on Earth. I don't know if you guys have been following science anytime lately. The iron ball at the center of the Earth may have just stopped and flipped. One of the biggest mysteries on Earth is deep beneath the surface. A new study shows it just stopped spinning and flipped. Researchers are suggesting that the mysterious iron ball, of course, at the center of the Earth has stopped spinning and did a flip. A new study published Monday, of course. We're just getting these details. Research at the inner core of the Earth and how experiencing several changes in the rotation of severe decay. While researchers are unable to look directly into the Earth's inner core, they can measure the impact of powerful earthquakes and nuclear weapon strikes through seismic waves that they cause. These waves reverberate through the center of the Earth. The information researchers then the inner core compares of mostly iron and nickel. So now the inner core researchers saying that the inner core is spinning slightly faster than the rotation of the Earth, that the inner core was spinning in line with the planet's outer layers. These seismic waves were created by earthquakes, so they got this information. But I've noticed these wave paths are changing over time. And some attributes of the spinning motion of the interior seem to have flipped, basically going the opposite direction. Yeah. Just worn out. Earth just worn out. It's spinning. Let's just say that. But the seismic waves, according to them, the Earth's core's spinning opposite does not affect us. It would not cause the stop of rotation. But depending on which force wins in a seemingly continuous battle, is going to determine which way the inner core spins in the long term. But this is interesting news just coming out. This just happened. This article was just published Monday in a scientific journal, of course, and I've been researching, doing a lot of information about it. But it's crazy. They don't know why it happened, that it stopped spinning in one way and flipped and it started spinning the other direction, but it has. Other news, Trump is back on Facebook and Instagram, or will be within the next couple of weeks, as his subject penalties if he breaks rules, of course. Former president hasn't posted on Twitter despite his lifted ban there. But he'll be back in time for running for 2024. Of course, classified documents also found at Pence's Indiana home today. Ridiculous. A small number of classified documents have been discovered last week at Mike Pence's Indiana home, according to two letters Pence's counsel sent to the National Archives, obtained by us today. Lawyers, of course, George Jacob said in the document that the discovery of January 16th, after Pence asked outside counsel to look for records bearing classified markings following the recent news about documents found in President Joe Biden's Delaware home. Jacob, who was the top lawyer at Pence's vice presidential office and now represents him in matters pertaining to the National Archives, said that the team identified a small number of documents that could potentially contain sensitive or classified information. Well, it was reviewing records stored at his personal home. What is going on? Where do these documents stop happening? I mean, supposedly these documents were inadvertently boxed and transported to Pence's home. Inadvertently. And he was unaware of their existence of sensitive or classified documents in his personal residence. How do you not know you have classified information? Pence's team said they immediately secured the classified documents in a locked safe once they found them. But they've been sitting out for how long now? That's a good question. It's a very high importance of protecting sensitive and classified information and stands ready and willing to fully cooperate with the National Archive and any appropriate inquiries, he says, but will not answer questions. Neither will DC, DOJ, or anybody else. They won't even answer them to the Senate or the House at this point. The transfer, of course, facilitated by Pence's attorneys to get these documents back. I mean, these discoveries, one after another, is ridiculous. I mean, there's no reason. I mean, searching his office and his home prior to this, they searched his home and didn't find any of these documents, supposedly. But now said they found a total of 4 boxes, 2 containers papers with classified markings, 2 with courteous copies of the vice presidential papers. I mean, all of this is being delivered to the National Archives now. 4 boxes total. What is going on? Of course, these news of these documents coming forward of classified markings and Obama administration being found at Biden's residence in Delaware, his Washington office, of course, as well, after vice presidency. Now the question is, who hasn't mishandled classified documents? If they want to blame Trump, I mean, holy heck. Oh, how many other former presidents or vice presidents have classified documents at their home? As we know, there's an alarming amount of them. A lot of people are demanding answers right now, and the answers aren't coming fast enough. I mean, Pence even went on when Trump, of course, was claimed to have classified records, and all this other stuff. And he dissed him as well, just like Joe Biden did, stating that there's no reason he should have had those documents. Why are vice presidents being found with them? What are they hiding? That's a good question. I mean, this is a joke at this point, literally. And 84% of Americans agree it's a joke. 84% of them support special counsels in the Biden document case. 84% of Americans, most Americans in the new survey, supported the appointment of a special counsel to look into the classified documents of President Biden at the time, as he was vice president, discovered in D.C. in his home. I mean, this is crazy. CNN did this survey, so it wasn't like Fox News did this survey. CNN's survey found 84% of Americans backed the appointment of a special counsel to go through and figure out what's going on. 80% were Democrats, 88% were Republicans expressing approval of this. This is a serious issue. Almost all respondents say they approve of the point of appointing a special counsel to oversee classified documents found last year and this year, even Trump's residents in Florida. 43% say they approve of Biden's administration of handling of the situation. 43%, that's less than half, think he handled it any kind of meaningful way. Broken down about party, of course. 3/4 of Democrats approve, now wonder, and 8 out of 10 of Republicans disapprove. How can they approve of his handling of classified documents but not approve of Trump's? That's a double-sided sword. More than 2/3 of overall, 67%, said they consider the matter very serious, or at least somewhat serious at this point. It's ridiculous. It's unethical. It's illegal. He broke the law. I mean, 18% of them, of course, said he did nothing wrong, Democrats. Nothing wrong with having classified information. But Trump, Democrats, 52% said he did everything wrong with having classified documents. This is ridiculous. A president versus a vice president are two different things. And watching this happen, this ends Pence's chance of running 2024. I think Trump will run unopposed at this point. I haven't seen DeSantis doing any more moves to go towards running. I think DeSantis will probably wait till 2028. But watching this happen and these classified documents coming forward in these polls and everything else coming forward, it shows that this is not good for any of them. Trump's the only one that bears anything out from this or gains anything from it. Americans, of course, are upset, angry about what's happening. One thing after another, we turn around and see this happening. The government's stonewalling us at every turn. Now, states like Illinois are trying to ban assault weapons, not rifles. Let me say this again. Assault weapons. And they try to classify semi-automatic weapons that are not revolvers as semi-automatic or as assault weapons. That means a 9mm handgun would be considered an assault weapon if they get their way. Of course, they're being sued in court right now, so that probably won't happen. But the thing is that they're trying. They're trying to take America over. Citizens no longer have rights. It's just ridiculous. Of course, Manchin is pushing to delay the tax credits for electric vehicles. That's going to help car manufacturers do a great business. Of course, a lot of them still owe so much money due to the bailouts they've received. Never having to pay it back, of course, if they don't have to pay it back within the first 6 years. That money becomes free. Watching this, of course, one thing after another, I think some of the things that are being introduced are good in the House and the Congress, like Minnesota's Democratic House member or Congress member introducing a bill banning members of Congress from owning and trading stocks. I think this should be 100%. I don't care if she's a Democrat or a Republican. She happens to be a Democrat. I believe if anybody is in office to make law, like Ann Craig is, They should not be able to trade or own stocks. Literally, because they're fixing it. They're fixing the road for themselves. They can make how much they want. The act is going to be called the Humble Act and will stop lawmakers with a lifetime ban on lobbying and restrictions against serving on corporate boards while in Congress as well. This is all stuff I agree with. I don't care if she's a Democrat. I do not care. That's the reason I said I am a constitutionalist, because this is something I truly believe in. Lawmakers wouldn't be able to fly first class with taxpayer funds. Their pay would be withheld if the House failed to elect a speaker on the first day for new Congress. Entering drawdown speakership fights like the one we saw with McCarthy. But this has to happen. The proposal to do this is a good thing. I mean, every part of this act is beneficial. There is no bad side. It stops them from owning securities and investments, which they should anyways. They shouldn't be able to trade commodities, especially not when they control the commodities they're trading in. We already have a problem with that. And that is a Democrat, and I am 100% backing that. Can my eyelashes assault weapons? If they declare them an assault weapon and they're classified as illegal, then yeah, they can take your eyelashes. Just wait, because this shit only gets better and better. As the government gains more control, they will try to take more from us. Sad but true. As we're watching what's happening around the world, I mean, every time we turn around, there's something else being taken away. The gas stove, of course, problematic politics of sacrifice are still there. They take gas away, natural gas stoves away. I guarantee this will not be over. But it's sad watching what's happening. Yeah. It is sad watching everything that's happened. I mean, fentanyl should be made a weapon of mass destruction. Fentanyl is a weapon of mass destruction. Yeah, we the people don't want anything more sent to Ukraine. But the point is, the United States government has a problem. We are going to default on our debt. That is not a question at this point. If we go to war, our default on debt doesn't mean anything because we're in wartime. When wartime, we go to War Production Act and everything else falls in place and taxes become greater. The government pays less for a lot of goods. People, of course, get less money. People suffer, but the government succeeds. As we look at what's happening, this push in Russia, this push to push the red lines, even to have Taiwan now backing off, all happening around the same times. Yeah, seeing what Russia's going to, or Abrams can do against modern Russian tanks, it's going to be scary. All I can say is it's going to be scary. God bless you all, though. I'm glad to have you guys with us every night we go live. We definitely need to start raising more money for families in need. We're not going to be able to do Easter this year because we haven't raised anything in the last couple of weeks. Just, I know it's hard on everyone, but we're going to try to do as much as we can for people in need as we can do it. Be safe, be strong, and stand up. Stand up for what you believe in is right. Please, if you guys can afford to donate, please do. We desperately are needing donations. Click on that link below, and it can get you to PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, any of those abilities to donate directly. But for now, God bless you all, and good night. Stay safe. We'll see you guys Friday.